We've all seen these images, the moments where we unlock the power to wipe ourselves out. How did we get here? Let's rewind. In 1938, German scientists discovered that splitting atoms could release a huge amount of energy. This breakthrough, the discovery of nuclear fission, opened the door to both atomic power and the deadliest weapons ever conceived. Worried that Nazi Germany might get there first, the US launched a top-secret program called the Manhattan Project, with the aim of building a nuclear weapon. The $2 billion program employed more than 130,000 people, including some of the greatest minds in science. By mid-1945, Germany had surrendered and the war in Europe was over, but the US was still embroiled in a war with Japan, and still preoccupied with building the ultimate bomb. The first nuclear test, known as the Trinity Test, was conducted in the New Mexico desert. No one knew exactly what would happen. Some thought the test would fail. Others feared it might ignite the atmosphere. In the end, it worked. Frighteningly well.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent.
That's nuclear physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man often called the father of the atomic bomb, reflecting here 2 decades after his test put America on the map as the world's first nuclear superpower. Within weeks, the US had 2 more working bombs: Little Boy, a uranium bomb, and Fat Man, made from plutonium. 2 nuclear weapons in their arsenal and 2 targets for their deployment. Bringing us to one of the most devastating moments in modern history. On August 6, 1945, the US dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. More than 150,000 people were killed, most of them civilians. Many more were left with injuries, burns, and radiation sickness.
With this bomb, we have now added a new and revolutionary increase in destruction to supplement the growing power of our armed forces.
That's President Harry Truman announcing the bombings to the American public.
It is an atomic bomb. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe.
The Second World War was over, but the era of nuclear weapons was only just beginning. The Soviet Union successfully tested its own atomic bomb. Over the next 2 decades, the United Kingdom, France, and China joined the nuclear club, with increasingly more powerful nuclear weapons being detonated on land, at sea, even in space. Here's a British test in the Australian outback. And here's the most powerful nuclear blast in history. The Soviet Union's Tsar bomber had more than 1,500 times the explosive power of the Hiroshima bomb. Its mushroom cloud reached 60 kilometers into the sky. To get a sense of how often these tests were happening, check out this time-lapse animation by Japanese artist Isao Hashimoto. Each flash on the map and each ping of sound represents a nuclear explosion. This clip only shows 2 years' worth. All up, there's been more than 2,000 nuclear detonations. The fallout, literal and figurative, has been enormous. Radioactive contamination, destroyed ecosystems, displaced communities, lasting health issues like cancer and genetic mutations. Some areas are still too dangerous to live in. So in 1968, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed. Its goal? Stop more countries from going nuclear and gradually reduce global stockpiles. But that didn't exactly happen. By 1986, the world had reached a peak of over 70,000 nuclear warheads. most belonging to the Soviet Union and the US. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, both countries agreed to reduce their deployed strategic warheads to no more than 6,000 each. So deployed strategic warheads are the ones mounted on missiles or bombers, ready to go at a moment's notice. The rest sit in stockpiles, in reserve, retired or awaiting dismantling. But even with the Cold War over, the number of nuclear powers continued to grow. India, Pakistan and Israel, none of whom signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty, all developed nuclear weapons. North Korea signed the treaty, then withdrew in 2003, and it's since carried out several nuclear tests. The US and Russia once again signed a new treaty in 2010, agreeing to further reduce their deployed warheads to 1,550 each, and that treaty is held to this day. But it is set to expire in 2026. The idea that's kept the world from using these weapons again is called mutually assured destruction, or MAD. The logic is simple. If one country launches a strike, the other will retaliate, and both sides will be destroyed. No winners, just mutual annihilation.
And yes, it is sadly ironic that in these modern times, it still takes weapons to prevent war. I wish it did not.
It might be mad, but it's kept things in check. So, how long can it hold? China is dramatically expanding its nuclear arsenal and is expected to surpass 1,500 warheads by 2035. North Korea continues testing missiles. India and Pakistan are still developing theirs, and the UK recently announced it would increase its nuclear stockpile for the first time in decades. Which is why the Doomsday Clock, set by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists to reflect how close humanity is to catastrophe, is now at 89 seconds to midnight, the closest it's ever been. 80 years after Hiroshima, the world faces a critical question. Can we stop history from repeating itself? Here's the thing. For all the fear, all the stockpiles, all the close calls, we haven't used a nuclear weapon in war since 1945. Many nations have reduced their arsenals significantly. Some have dismantled entire programs. The number of warheads worldwide is a fraction of what it was during the height of the Cold War. And there's something else, awareness. We now understand what these weapons do. We've seen the aftermath in grainy black and white newsreels and in the radioactive scars still on this earth. That knowledge and memory is what pulls us back from the brink.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that.